and other types of prison-type entities? Don't know. Will CCA abandon the property? We don't know. Will CCA be allowed to expand beyond the 750 beds? We don't know. The one in Florida is rumored to be around 1,500 beds. ICE has on average about 400,000 deportations a year, so the possibility exists this could be expanded at a future date to become a bigger facility. We don't know what the length of the intergovernmental agreement is. Will it be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? I mean, this isn't just for you, this is your kids and your grandkids. If you were thinking that maybe your kids and grandkids would want to stay and live in Crete because it was such a nice community. So this affects future generations. So those are some of the issues. Then we have jobs issues. CCA is doing a full court press in Florida that these are great jobs. Well, they're not great jobs. They don't pay a very good living wage and they don't have a lot of benefits. Why is health insurance important? Well, if you don't have health insurance, you tend to delay your medical care, and then you get sicker, and then you end up in the emergency room and your medical costs are higher. And if you don't have medical insurance and the hospital has to pick up the tab, or the hospital is in the business of making a profit, they're going to turn that expense around and put it on the people who do have insurance for their services, making them higher. So it's a vicious circle with the health insurance issue. So Crete logically wants to bring in businesses that have jobs that pay a good living wage so that you can buy a house in Crete and live here and participate in the community and have health insurance and benefits so that the rest of society doesn't end up picking up the tab. And that's something they're not talking about in Crete, and it's also something our elected officials are not talking about at the federal level, because remember, again, giving the detention center work to the private for-profit prison companies is a policy decision by this administration. So you gotta kind of watch, when they say they support us, do they really support us? If they really support us, why are they giving the business to the private for-profit prison detention facilities? It never used to be this way. ICE used to run their own detention centers. They were good paying middle-class jobs with health benefits. How did this end up happening? Well, these private for-profit prison companies, this is big business. With 400,000 deportations a year, they're getting about 200,000 beds out of the 400,000. They're making literally hundreds of millions of dollars. And where's that money coming from? It's coming from us, because it's our tax dollars. The term for all this is privatization. Privatization of government services, where you take work that should be done by the government and you give it away. And they might try and tell you that they're doing this because it saves you money, but it really doesn't save you money because of all the hidden costs. And if anyone's interested in more detailed information on privatization, we'll be more than happy to give it to you. And again, unfortunately, we couldn't afford to copy all the stuff that you guys might find useful to help you make your decision. New York City has already experienced problems with the privatized detention facilities, and they want the company that they have out there, GEO, to be ceased from operating because of the human rights abuses and the financial problems that they're uncovering for their situation with the privatized detention facility. So we're not in this alone. There's other states, other cities out there, and if we all work together, we have a really good chance of turning this whole thing around. So jobs is one issue that you really, really want to ask detailed questions on, and CCA hasn't so far been very forthcoming with the salaries and the benefit packages. So if by chance you start running into them in town, definitely ask them about their wages and their benefit packages. Again, the Village of Crete is saying this is going to bring money into the town, so it's a financial benefit for you. But what they're not talking about is, for instance, infrastructure and emergency response costs. Part of the land is already in the TIF zone. CCA has not said they'll give up that TIF. If they don't give up that TIF, that's going to cut into any money the Village of Crete could get. Who's going to bear the cost for the sewer and water lines? Crete or CCA? If it's Crete, that's still your tax dollars. If it's CCA, it's still your tax dollars because they get paid out of your federal taxes. Who's going to bear the responsibility for road improvements? Well, depending on how heavy the traffic is going to be, if a lot of the traffic is going to come in off of 394 in Burville, which would be a logical assumption. Burville's a 2-lane road, it would need to be widened. Out by 394, that's township, so that's township highway department, that doesn't belong to the village of Crete. Repairing that road, snow plowing it, that comes out of all of our tax dollars who live in Crete Township. If, say, the main artery is going to be Main Street and Burville to get into the facility, that's town of Crete, the highway department in town, but again, that's your tax dollars. How about police and fire and emergency response? Crete doesn't have a big fire department and it doesn't have a big police department. There are, at detention centers, riots and fires. So it requires outside emergency police response and fire response. So who's going to pick up that call?